All right, rise and shine, everyone. It's Mer World Card Time, and we've got Dan, the Great Curator. It's another episode of Between Two Slabs. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. We weren't on yesterday, Tuesday, because Dan was flying cross country back from from Texas back to Orange County, where he lives, and we decided to have it on Wednesday night. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in on Wednesday night. Dan, I guess you're getting back from the Dallas Card Show. I saw you there, and that was your very first card show of the year. How does it feel to be back into the swing of things?
It feels good. It feels great, actually. If you guys watched our live from the trade show floor on Saturday, I kind of shared my initial feelings about stepping into the card show world again. This is my first card show of the year. I've taken about 4.5 months off since last year.
It's been that long?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
You know, first of all, let me just say the Dallas Card Show was great. Fantastic.
Right.
It feels like I was a little bit worried because towards the end of last year, the show was kind of like dying down. You know, it was difficult to make deals.
That was
an
understatement, man.
Yeah.
That was an understatement at the time.
I was worried, which is one of the reasons I took time off, because I wanted the market to kind of settle in a little bit going into 2023, and I wanted to kind of come back refreshed. So that was my reasoning for taking time off. Plus I went on a family vacation and things like that. But I was nervous going into the Dallas Card Show. Before, I think we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves here. So part of our new format here, guys, is we're trying to have structured segments, so that if you're tuning in, you can kind of go to the segment you want to watch. Okay. We're going to talk about hobby news. So we're going to talk about the Dallas Card Show. We're going to talk about some incident that happened with Burbank last week.
No.
And then we're going to talk about, I know we said we're going to talk about those fake Jordans, which we might talk about that a little bit, but I also want to talk about some exciting news for Between Two Slabs to share with you guys.
Boy.
Okay?
Oh, my goodness.
So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about
news.
We're going to talk about what's on our mind this week, and what's on my mind this week are hobby comps. And then we're going to talk about what bends our corner. Okay. Some things that we saw, mail days and comments. Okay. So that's the structure of our podcast going forward. Okay. So with that said, let's go back into the Dallas Card Show. I was a bit nervous, to be honest, because
I can imagine.
I felt rusty. I felt unprepared going in there. I didn't have my cards priced with like today's prices, So it took me a couple of days to kind of figure it out. I was actually nervous when people came up to me to negotiate with me on deals and things like that too. You know what I mean?
I can imagine. I remember you telling me you leaned over to me and just told me that. You're like, dude, I feel a little rusty. I'm a little worried.
Yeah. People were trying to tenderize me, because the Dallas Card Show is not for amateurs. It's not a local show that you go to on the weekend at the mall, you know what I mean? Or inside a gym at the YMCA or something like that. The Dallas Card Show is a major show, one of the biggest shows across in the country. It's where all people come, dealers from all over the country, they come there, and they are sophisticated buyers and sellers. They're very savvy. So if you're not careful, you will definitely be taken advantage of.
Yeah, you'll be in the live.
Swimming with the sharks for sure. So a little bit nervous, but after a couple of days, after getting my cards priced to where I wanted to be, after interacting with a couple people, I started to get my groove back a little bit. And by Saturday, I was in it. Saturday, I was zone. I was in the zone making deals left and right. It was awesome. It felt
like that bike again, man.
Yeah. It felt like the good old days of 2021, where it was like easy to make deals, Yeah,
it was so weird too. I mean, Brian wasn't there, so now you had 4 cases full of just a lot of eclectic stuff.
Yeah, that was very enjoyable for me, to be honest, because usually if people don't know, I share my table with Brian, Sunday League Investor. He's part of our crew. So I get 2 showcases. He gets 2 showcases. And with 2 showcases, you can fit about like 60 to 70 slabs in there. which is good, which is what I usually carry. But you can't carry anything else. You can't carry wax or any big items or piles of raw cards or anything like that. So this time I had 4 showcases, and it's the first time I've ever had that many showcases, and it was nice. I got to put out all my stuff. I brought more inventory this time than I ever have.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, I was like, whoa.
3 bags. I bought 3 bags worth of inventory, and by the end of the show, I only had like less than 1/2 bag left. So I sold more than half of my inventory at the Dallas Card Show, and it was great.
My gosh.
Yeah. Big things too. I brought Type 1 photos, comic books, raw cards,
wrestling magazines.
You know, I bought a lot of shit. I bought a lot of shit for you guys. And it was interesting because I keep telling you this. I mention this every week that this whole year is gearing up for the national, right? Yes. Every card show is practice, getting that inventory ready, getting that inventory tuned up tight so that when we go to the national, we have the best stuff for that type of crowd. So this was
when you went to the national, and now we're going to the national for a second time, for your first time, like, what's your game plan now that was different from before?
I'll tell you this. The first time I went to national in 2021, I went
as a dealer.
As I walked.
No, that's when I saw you.
Yeah, that's when you walked too, okay?
Yes.
You walked there. So that time, Chicago. If you asked me to set up at the national, I would not have been prepared. My cards were not good enough to be at the national.
No.
Second year, 2022, we set up. We brought all our stuff, but we were not prepared for the volume of activity at the national in terms of doing deals, right? And in terms of the cards, the level of cards that people expected to see there. So this year, I'm trying to not only bring more stuff, but rare, high-end, unique things to get people to stop at my table.
Yes.
That's the goal for the national. So this time, Dallas, this was my test, my first test to see how my inventory would fare. And I got good feedback. You know, some things I thought would do very well that didn't. Some things that I didn't think people would care about did very well.
I know, right?
It's all trial and error, but it was very good practice leading up to our next big show, whenever that's going to be. I'm not even sure, to be honest. But it gave me something to think about so that I know that when I start buying things for the national, that I know what people are looking for. I know what I can get away with and things like that. But overall, I would say the Dallas Card Show, I was worried that they might have too many tables, because something that we've been talking about, 750 tables is a lot. It takes a lot of foot traffic off the floor when you have that many people, especially local people, setting up at your show. But they did a very good job of bringing in foot traffic. So they killed it, as always. Those guys, Kyle, Leo, Ruben, the promoters of the Dallas Card Show, they killed it for sure in that regards. And I'm pretty sure I know. I didn't ask you, but I am pretty sure you made a lot of money. I did pretty well for myself too. I was just very happy to move a bunch of inventory, and it was different though. You know, one thing I want to share with the viewers. Usually, I buy a lot of stuff at the show. This time, you do. I didn't buy anything at the show. I traded, but I spent $20. My entire time there, I spent $20 buying a raw card.
That was very surreal, Dan. That was like weird. Like,
but
what?
You
like pinch me.
But for you, every like few minutes, I turn around. You're dishing out money. You're like Burbank cards. You're like you're cashing.
I know, I'm right. I'm like the Rob Card father there, man.
Yeah,
like the Merle father.
You were just buying all wrestling, or what was going on?
Yeah. I'm gearing up for Wrestlecon, and I've been doing very well, selling not only at shows but online as well on eBay. It's been going very well, and it's kind of interesting because when you have, I mean, you and I mostly do pop culture, but this time decided to bring more, like 3/4 of wrestling, just see how it goes, and wanted people to bring me wrestling also, because like you said, if you display it, they will come with it. And that was the truth. So I'm selling good wrestling, and wrestling was really selling because I was the only one there that had that kind of much variety. Whoops, excuse me.
That was
that much
that
stuff.
was my best seller.
Yes.
Wrestling.
Well,
and my
you're right
biggest
next to
sales
me.
came from wrestling. My biggest
Yeah,
sales came from wrestling too.
and
So
people
you know
just
what?
bringing me good wrestling, so it was great.
Okay, so I gotta say this. I feel
Yes.
like we are definitely okay. I'm gonna pat myself on the back, and I know I'm gonna get some haters for this. Okay, but I feel like we are trendsetters at the Dallas Card Show, and I'll explain to you why.
Most
I will
definitely.
back it up. I will back it up with receipts for you guys. Okay, last year, you know, when we were transitioning from sports to pop culture cards, mainly Marvel, we had a bunch of Marvel cards there. Nobody else had them at all, and then the next show and the next show after that, people started having Marvel cards, right? PMGs, 90 Marvel cards, things like that. Then we go on our Star Wars kick, right?
Yep.
We start having
That gets
Galaxy
bigger and
cards,
bigger.
things like that. And you know what I saw a lot of at this show? Star Wars cards, Galaxy
a lot.
cards,
Yes.
super fractors. Big super fractors were being sold at the Dallas Card Show. They set a record. We can talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, and with like DAP's right across from us, so it's a lot of wrestling.
Cards, I'm telling you. And now we're doing our wrestling push, right? Because we're in WrestleMania season. I guarantee you there's going to be more wrestling cards in the next few months at the Dallas Card Show.
Well, remember also I did a lot of celebrity and music cards. And if you walk around the floor now, you also see a lot of celebrity and music cards.
So you know, we can call this, we can say we're the Between Two Slabs trendsetters. I'll selfishly call it the curator effect, you know, things like that. But I think people are definitely paying attention to what we are bringing to the show. And if it moves, if it sells, other people are going to start selling that stuff too.
And do you also have like customers and even other dealers come to you to show their cards, like their pop culture cards, and have you appraise them or give you more information about them? We
are starting to build a reputation as the pop culture go-to guys that people are asking questions. People always bring me stuff. Hey, what is this worth? Have you seen this before? What should I do with it? Blah, blah, blah. Right. So that's pretty cool. I think all our hard work, you know, over the past year of promoting all this nerd stuff that people laughed at us for, you know, and all that stuff, people made fun of us. They said our cards were worthless. We were just pumping and dumping these things and nobody wants it and this and that. Now people are taking notice, and everybody that comes to us, the first thing they say is, you know what, these things are pretty cool, right? These cards are pretty cool. I love Star Wars. I love Marvel. I love wrestling. I just never thought about collecting it. And now they're asking us questions. And we're fast becoming the experts for that. Even though I will fully admit there are hardcore OG collectors that have way more knowledge than us, even combined. But since we actually take the effort to make content, we are becoming the reference points for a lot of people. So that's super cool.
And again, and more broad spectrum too, because a lot of people we know only have like a certain niche. Yeah, like either Marvel, just Star Wars, or just sports cards, or whatever, or they're just now dabbling into it.
Right. So the Dallas Card Show for me was a huge success. For you, it was huge success. It was a great stepping off point to the year for me, anyways, and gave me a lot of great feedback on what we need to bring to Wrestlecon, what we need to prepare for the national, for the next Dallas show, and then whatever other show we go to after that. We haven't even planned our schedule, to be honest. We're so busy in March that we haven't planned it out for April or May yet.
Oh my God, national's gonna be here before you know it, Dan.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's coming quickly. I feel like I'm underprepared for it now, so I still have a lot of work to do. You think
it'll be mostly pop culture cards then?
At the national for me, for my inventory?
Yes.
Of course. For my inventory, of course. Like sports, last year, sports was like 40%. This year, sports is probably going to be like 10% of my inventory. And then the rest is going to be pop culture. But I'll tell you what I'm bringing more of.
What?
Big ticket items. Okay. Type 1 photographs, comic books, magazines, graded magazines. You even picked up a graded magazine this weekend.
Yes, right? I did. I'll show it during mail day.
Show people that. So yes. these things, what
It
I'm
was so
learning,
unique. I did a
yes,
cash trade with it. It was so unique. I had to get it. I loved it.
what I am learning is that these things, they take up a lot of space in your showcase.
Yeah, I
Like
know. Where am I going to put it, Dan?
like a slab comic, for example, but they stop people in they get attention, and people will
That's
stop
so
at your
true.
table to look to see what you have, and they're unique and they display beautifully. So I think that that's definitely something I'm going to be bringing a lot of these big giant slabs of things like that, because I think that's what people want. People want things that they can display on their shelves and things like that. So to me, that was my one of my biggest
Did you
takeaways.
sell a Type 1
I did.
photo? What
I
was
did.
it?
I sold my Walt Disney on the sled
Oh,
photo.
you did that
Yeah.
one with
You know what?
little, like the weird little Mickey Mouse person on it.
Yeah, you know who I sold it to?
Who?
Our friend Greg from Gas Trading
Oh,
Cards.
Greg got it. He was buying a lot of stuff too. That was his very first Dallas show, and he was
He
set up
came
as
after
well
you left. After you left, he came by before he was leaving, and he made
on Sunday.
yeah, and he made an offer on it, and I gave him a good deal. So he's got the Type 1 Walt Disney in the sled photo with Mickey Mouse.
He was having a
And
field day.
and then I sold both of my comic books there.
Oh, you did? Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
you sell one. What was the other one?
The other one was
Just tell us both of them what you sold.
Yeah, the Todd McFarlane signed Spider-Man 300. You know who bought that for me?
Who?
Kyle, the promoter of the
Oh,
Dallas
yes, I
Stars
saw
Show.
him do that. Yes, they
Yeah,
filmed it as well.
So he bought it for me, and then I sold all my wrestling magazines to
all of them too. That guy.
Yeah, to Dan. His name's Dan.
Yeah.
Loyal viewer of the channel here. So Dan, if you're watching, thank you for that.
There
so
you go, Dan.
These things, they sell. You know, they sell. They take up a lot of room, but they sell if they display well.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, overall, I had a great time. I would say, based on my experience here, and we can take comments too, questions, whatever you guys want to ask, put it in the comment section. We will definitely get to it. But I will say, based on my experience here, I gotta say the hobby, I think, is in a very healthy place right now in terms of activity. It's not gloom and doom like everybody, like some people are saying. People are excited. People are happy to collect. But here's the thing that I took notice. I feel like people are collector focused right now. They're buying things, they're buying low-end stuff, they're buying things for their collection, PC items. They're not playing the margin game like we would expect, right? They're not buying things at 70%, trying to flip it at 80, 90, 100%. They're not playing that stuff. They're buying cool stuff, cool items that they want to add to their collection or that they think are very valuable and worth holding on to. But maybe that's just a reflection of the inventory that we carry, because I know other people that have very common cards, sports cards and things like that. They still play the margin game. But for us, our stuff is so unique that we are attracting the collectors to buy from us.
It's so true. I mean, Rhea Ripley, that wrestler, was very hot. I sold a lot of her cards. I sold the last of all my autographed Simpson cards. I had just bought a bunch and brought with me, and I was hoping to show it off to people because I was hoping people were going to bring me her cards. But I sold the Game of Thrones of Bella Ramsey, who was Lady Lyanna Mormont.
That was surprising. Somebody bought you out.
And she is the lead girl who's in The Last of Us with Pedro Pascal. And I had this cool printing plate set that was awesome. I wanted to show off to people. And that got bought by that was Thursday. That was the first night.
Todd bought that.
Yes,
for you,
yes, he did.
Yes, our friend.
He always loves unique pop culture stuff. He's got all kinds of goodies.
You know what else was selling for me very well?
What's that?
Disney Pixar cards. I sold all my Disney Pixar cards. I couldn't believe it. It was awesome. And K-pop cards. I made a killing on my K-pop cards.
I sold a few myself too, and you sold a lot. You had a lot.
Yeah, so that stuff is hot. People like to see the alternative stuff. Right.
And
it's low end stuff. It's like, $5-10 or whatever it is per card. And it's not a lot of money, but people, they see these things and they want to collect it. They enjoy that type of stuff. So they want to collect the cards.
They just want to own it.
Yeah.
They just want to have it.
So that was really cool. It was so busy for me. And because I wasn't in a buying mode, I didn't even really walk the show at all. I didn't get to see really anything that they had there. Did you get a chance to walk at all?
I sure did. Yes.
Did you what was something unique that you saw?
Alex, the vintage pop culture guy who's on the other end from us at the beginning, he had some really cool stuff. He had more Disney. He had a Three's Company card set. He had an Andy Griffith pretty much rookie card from like 1963 mobile that I thought was really neat. That was in a SGC slab. I saw a lot more pop culture than I ever did. The guy down from me had a lot of wrestling. But I mean, other than that, it was, a lot of sports cards, a lot of Ja Morants. I don't know what's going to happen with Ja Morant. I mean, we'll talk about it later, but
a lot of crazy stuff was happening while we were at the show, like a lot of crazy news and stuff, right?
Yeah, with SVB Bank or whatever. I'm still listening.
Bank collapse. So we'll talk a little bit about that. I'll give you my thoughts on that. Burbank Cards was broken into.
I know.
Things like that. So,
but I was very impressed. I was really skeptical about going to Dallas this past weekend.
There were competing shows.
Yes, there was one in Nashville, and where was the other one? Philadelphia.
Philly.
Yeah. So I was like, kind of worried about it, that it would have an effect on Dallas, but it did not look, from when I was there in January, because you weren't there in January, it seemed just the same. I mean, why do you think? I was at Burbank. You weren't Burbank Card Show. I've done 3 shows, pretty much one per month so far, and they've all been super successful. Why do you think that's the case?
Why is every card show that you've done successful?
For 2023, since January, February, March, 3 shows, but 2 were Dallas, of course, and then 1 was the Burbank Card Show.
I would contribute it to 2 factors. Number one, I think that so what shows did you do?
Just two Dallas and 1 Burbank.
I would contribute it to 2 factors. Number one is I think the promoters are doing a very good job at setting up these shows. They're not just selling out tables. They're promoting the show. They're bringing in foot traffic, and they're adding money into the economy of the show so that it's going around. They're buying stuff basically, and they're making it an experience for people to go to want to go to these shows. So that's number one. The promoters are doing a great job. So credit to them. The other thing is I think that the hobby is settling down. I think that people are more in a position where they're buying collectibles that for their PCs, for their collections, and they're not necessarily just trying to flip and make money as much as they used to. There's still a lot of guys that do that are flipping cards and playing the margin game, as I like to call it. But I think all the people that I've interacted with, they're more of just focusing on building really, really, fun collections and enjoying the hobby the way that it's supposed to be enjoyed, and I think that's contributing to it.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope it keeps it up because, last year for us, Dallas was our best of shows, but it was also our worst of shows.
Right. Yeah. But I feel like the magic Dallas has there is back. And I experienced that during our trade night when everybody was hanging out. Everybody was having a good time. We live streamed for like 6 hours.
We did. That was definitely a marathon.
Yeah. And we had consistently 30 people watching us, just having it on the background while they were doing whatever at home. I thought that was super cool. But that level of camaraderie, you only get in Dallas. You don't get that type of feeling at any other show that I've ever been to, where people are willing to hang out all night long and just talk hobby,
You're so true. And the thing was, I also set up some cards at trade night, which me, I never do. I just want to sit and rest.
You made a huge sale.
I know. I sold a bunch. Even when I walked away, every time I came back, Dan goes, I sold another card for you while you were gone.
I was selling your cards. That's how good it was for you that I was actually selling your cards.
I know.
Man.
And we were doing the show at the same time. We were juggling a lot, man.
Yeah. So if anybody was watching that show, let us know some feedback. If you like that type of format where we just let it run and you get to see things happen, let us know. If you haven't watched it yet, just let it run so we can get the view time, please. We need that, guys. But we're always
Ruben and Leo and them for setting up the table for us so we could do the show.
Next time we're going to get a reserve spot. I already talked to Ruben. We're going to get a reserve spot. We're going to get a better position where you can see more of the action, because we were in the back, guys.
We were, and we still had a lot of traffic.
Yeah, so they're actually going to put us somewhere towards like the middle next time, I think, and then we'll just have fun doing that.
I love it. It was a great time.
So before we wrap up the Dallas show, I want to talk about another exciting opportunity that we had there. And this is why you have to go to these shows. If you're a content creator or you're in the hobby space and you want to be somebody that gets opportunities, you got to go to these shows because there's networking opportunities involved here, guys. And that was never more apparent to me than at the Dallas Card Show, because I don't know what it is. I think that we're starting to break out, guys. I think we're starting to have a breakout season, but marketing departments of companies are asking us to do things for them now. So we are in talks. I don't necessarily want to put the cart before the horse and say, oh, we're working with these guys or these guys or anything like that. But I tell you guys right now, whatever we're doing, I think it's working because companies are reaching out to us and asking us to help promote their brands, their products, their services, things like that. So I think that's super cool. I was really excited to have those conversations at the Dallas Card Show. But I'll say that type of opportunity only comes because we have strong, loyal supporters. Every week, people are tuning in, all the same names. I feel like I know a lot of these guys by now, even though maybe I haven't actually met you guys in person. I feel like we interact enough where we know each other, and that type of support is what's really helping us out a lot and propelling us there. And I'll tell you guys this, if we can lock down sponsorships, we will grow the channel. We will put all the money that we can make off of this. We will put it into the channel. We will do things. We'll get better production value for you guys.
Maybe one day we'll have our own studios.
We can travel to more shows. We can do more events. We can do giveaways, all sorts of cool stuff. We can get you guys discount codes, all that stuff. So thank you guys for supporting us. Please continue to support us. Make sure you subscribe, share, like, all that stuff. View the channel, all that stuff they pay attention to. So we need to get all those things up a little bit, and then we can start to really, really have fun with this channel, guys. Okay,
most definitely.
So that's one thing. So that's the last thing I want to talk about the Dallas Card Show. Okay. Any other hobby news you want to talk about?
You were going to tell me about the Jordan cards. I don't know much the information about it. Can you tell us more? Elaborate.
I don't know too much about this. We'll just briefly cover this because it was a major story. Apparently, some old guy was cracking out PSA slabs or selling fake PSA slabs, something like that, and he got pinched. He got pinched by the FBI for massive fraud, wire fraud, or something.
It had gone that far.
Yeah, so that's just another ugly side of the hobby that I think that we have to educate people that even though cards are slabbed and PSA slabs or things like that, they can be faked. They can be faked. So, just a brief history of why we have these companies, PSA, SGC, BGS, is they didn't start off necessarily as grading companies. They started off as authentication companies.
Oh, really?
Because fakes were a lot. They made a lot of fakes in the 90s. And
wow.
So PSA stands for Professional Authentication Services, right? Not Professional Grading Services. That's something that a lot of people kind of take for granted. I think that just because a card is in a slab, it's authenticated or it's real. But the scammers out there, they are sophisticated now, and they can definitely fool a lot of people. Okay. They can even make fake labels that will fool the barcode scan. So just people need to be aware of that. I think that we need to continue to have education about that, things that they can do, just so you guys know what you can do about that kind of stuff. PSA is constantly innovating their labels to have more security measures so that it can't be faked, even though it still is. But just look for new label cards, try to buy new label cards. If it's an old label, you've got to really examine it to make sure that it's not printed. Basically, if it has poor printing quality, then you know something's up. Ooh. Look for slabs that can be pulled apart. Look for slabs that have cracks in it, hairline cracks, things like that. If anything is damaged, you don't want to touch it. Okay. And then you always want to make sure that you scan and verify these these cards on high dollar cards just to make sure they scan and that they can be verified and things like that. So those are just some tips. There are more advanced tips that we I'm not really qualified to talk about, but I'll just tell you because I know them. You can get like a little UV light like this, okay, and then you can look at like vintage cards. Okay.
Oh, that's why they do that.
Yeah. So there's tools like this that will help you identify fake vintage cards and things like that. So
because how do you know it's a fake vintage card with that flashlight?
If it's dark, it's real. If it's bright, it's fake. Basically.
What causes that?
I don't know. Adrian taught me this. CB
yes,
Sports
I know, right? Yes.
Adrian gave me this light. So
he gave me one too.
Yeah. There are plenty of people out there that make all sorts of content that you can watch about how to tell fakes. There's some guy, I forget his name. I never met him, but he wrote a whole book on identifying fakes. So things
Adrian,
like that.
you need to make a video of how to do this.
I'm not an expert on it, so I don't know if I'm qualified to tell people. I just know what I know, right?
Right.
But it is out there, so just be aware of it, guys. Unfortunately, there are a lot of scammers in our business. Whenever there's a lot of money involved, there's a lot of scammers. The scammers come, so just be aware of that. The other thing we'll talk about real quick, we'll move on from this. We'll talk about the break-ins at Burbank Sports Cards.
I know, it's terrible. Yeah, it's my neighboring card store.
Yeah.
I live in Hollywood, and Burbank's just 20 minutes down the road.
So that's another thing. These poor card stores. I would never own a card store. As much as I would love to, it's everybody's dream to own a card store. I think there's too much risk involved. It's too easy to break into these stores, steal wax. And I know.
Wait a minute. I thought you wanted me to start one with you one time.
Well, the pump room. Remember, that's still in the works.
I know, but you were like, "Let's own a card store."
That's still in the works.
Changed your mind?
It's just like they get broken into too much. I'm just scared.
I know. If we have a card store, it needs to be like in a high rise, like on the 20th floor.
It needs to be somewhere where
I don't want it like ground level.
Right. I don't know. I'm not a security expert. I'm sure that there's a way that you can figure it out, like jewelry stores, maybe, I don't know, like whatever they do to keep their stuff safe. But unfortunately, that's another part of the hobby. I just feel like it's really unfortunate that these people are stealing wax. You know what I mean? It's like, I feel like they're not professional criminals, these guys.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think these guys.
But do you think they're actually in the hobby that we've actually come face to face with these people, interacted with them? You think
they're definitely in the hobby? They're definitely in the hobby. They definitely know what these cards are valued at. They know how to sell them and things like that. I just feel like
they've been in and out of Burbank cards several times. You think?
I'm sure they have.
Scouting it out.
I'm sure they have. I think it takes a special type of person to kind of want to do this, right? You got to be like a real sociopath to basically scam people or to steal from people in the hobby and not lose any sleep over it. You got to be a real sociopath. I remember last year at Dallas where those guys got caught selling fake Jordans at Dallas.
Yeah, that was like a year ago.
You remember? And then they got beat up. They almost got beat up in the hallway.
That was crazy. Yes, I did.
And those guys were just walking around. Viral. I interacted with one of those guys. He tried to get me. But
I remember.
Luckily, I'm too poor to buy a Jordan at that time, so I didn't. I wanted to go for it, but I didn't have the money. But it takes a special person to kind of walk around with no conscience, and to do something like that. So I feel bad for those people. In that regard,
what damage they did at Burbank?
I don't know. I didn't really follow. They got caught. The most important thing is they got caught really quick. Burbank police were on it. They got caught. But again, unfortunately, those things exist in the hobby. So we just have to kind of be aware with it. And I think as members of the community, we just have to be good stewards, good members, and just kind of watch out for each other whenever we can and help each other so that poor people don't get scammed over stuff like that. And it creates a bad image for the hobby. And we don't want that. We want the hobby to be in the most positive light as possible so that it continues to grow and the values of our cards continue to rise and all this stuff, and we can enjoy ourselves.
Unfortunately, there's always someone to ruin it for the rest of us.
Right.
They ruin the party. They get greedy, they get jealous, and they want it all for themselves.
Right.
But you're going to get caught. So It's not worth. Is it really worth it?
Yeah. No, it's not. It's not. I mean, there are easier ways to make money. I always tell people this. There are way easier ways to make money in the hobby. And I would imagine, I'm not a criminal, but I would imagine there are way easier ways to break the law to make money than trying to steal cards and break into card shops and sell fakes and things like that.
You ever had someone like on eBay though? You have like a $20, $40 card on eBay, and they're like asking you, how do they know if it's fake or real? And I'm like, listen, that's the only card on here. I don't think I would spend all my trouble on a $40 card and ruin my entire reputation and get arrested. For a $40 card.
I mean,
like, you're
never
a little too paranoid.
I would just say if it's fake, just return it or whatever. You know?
Like, yeah, right. Yeah, you have. I told you you have authenticity guaranteed, so I think you'll be okay.
But even then, that's not foolproof because I've heard stories of
really?
How things are getting past eBay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but that's a story for another time.
They can't even guarantee the authenticity.
Yeah.
How dare them? Oh my goodness.
Okay, so I think we covered all the news. Let's go on to our next segment. What's on our mind? Remind me in our notes. What was on my mind? I forgot.
Well, what's on your mind was like the Dallas. You're going to talk about the digital thing, the digital investments or whatever it is.
Yes. Okay. So,
and we're going to talk about, of course, Silicon Valley Bank.
Okay. So I'm just going to get into this very, very briefly. I don't want to start a shitstorm in the comments section here. Okay. But if you guys, most people are aware of what happened to this Silicon Valley Bank over the weekend. If you don't know, a bank basically had a bank run where a lot of people withdraw their money from the bank because the bank made some poor investments. So people got spooked. And that caused the bank to go under, and then the FDIC had to go in there and take over the bank. So that's basically a summary of what happened, okay? Anyways, so it got me thinking a lot because I was paying attention to this story. I pay attention to financial news all the time. I like to study investment strategy, things like that. I talk to you about it a lot.
Yes, you do. Okay?
So it got me thinking that I'm thinking, how does a bank go under, right? And apparently the way that this bank went under is they bought a bunch of bonds that had low interest rates and were basically underwater compared to today's interest rates because they bought it last year and the interest rates were like below 2%. Now they're above like 4%. So their bonds are worth less today than they were when they bought them, right? But I was thinking to myself, what did they do wrong? Like, how did this happen? Like they took
how did it happen?
Money and they bought bonds, which are historically supposed to be the most safe thing. And then they had to liquidate it at a loss and they went under. Like it's not like they stole money, right? It's not like something happened that they did was really wrong. I mean,
if anything, it sounds like they got carried away though. And no one said, let's slow this down a little.
Well, if you really want to be critical about the people that were in charge of making those investments, they basically bought the bonds and ignored the fact that the interest rates could go up. And even though they bought one of the most safest things you could buy, they over leveraged themselves with those investments. And they didn't, I guess they didn't diversify in other type of investments. So that's what got them in trouble. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But what makes me think about this is like, it reminds me of what happened a couple months ago with FTX. And I talked to you about that too, FTX, right? The crypto exchange that basically was taking people's money, converting it into different types of cryptocurrency and making up money out of thin air, basically, right? And then I was telling you about, this reminds me about this bank, because the way that banks work is they can take money and then they can leverage that money by loaning it out or doing other things. And they just basically create money out of thin air. Which is how most of the world works today, I think. And most of the world is like digital currencies, digital assets, things like that.
Digital assets, right.
And it just kind of made me wonder, and this is just me rambling, guys. This is not real financial, analysis or anything like that. But it just makes me wonder about like digital assets, digital currency, digital investing, things like that. I think about NFTs and what a shit show that was a couple years ago.
And where are they now, NFTs?
I mean, they're where they are. They've hit a bottom. they still have people that love NFTs, but they're not the flipping game that they once were. That's for sure, right?
Right.
I think about things like NBA Top Shot. Does anybody talk about that?
Not
right?
anymore. That lasted for like a New York minute.
Right. I think about all the stuff that people try to make digital things about. And when I think about digital things, and I'm probably going to sound like an old man here, okay? I feel like it's made up, right? I can like cryptocurrency, for example, you can make a coin and you can say that this coin is like going to be the new hot thing that everybody needs to trade, and you can pump it up and everything like that, but you just made it up. You made it up.
Yes.
To the point where with cryptocurrency, to the point where they have to make up the coins, but then they also have to tie the coins to something that's like real US dollars. I don't want to talk about it because people are going to make fun of me because my lack of knowledge on this, right? But cryptocurrencies can be pegged to stable coins, okay? And they're supposed to say, oh, that makes it have real value. So they're trying to take something that they made up and trying to associate it with something that actually has value because they just made something up. And the same thing happens with like banking, right? Banking makes up money out of thin air. Money can be printed out of thin air, things like that. Anyways, so my point here is that for me, I tend to gravitate towards physical assets, physical collectibles, over digital things that I think anything that's digital can be manipulated way too easily. So I feel like I'm in a good spot. I've got my valuable collectibles, my cards, my comic books. I invest in a little bit of real estate. I invest, I've got like other assets, gold, silver, just physical things that I think that cannot be easily manipulated. Even if the actual asset value goes down, you still have the asset itself that has some value to it. So that's just been what's on my mind lately.
Now, do you own any crypto?
No,
you don't have any.
I played around with crypto last year and I sold it off. I sold it off at a loss. I took a loss on that.
You did?
I don't believe in it.
Oh.
Some people really believe in it. I think that there's a place for it, with certain things, but it's not really. I'd rather put my money in. That's what I'm saying. I'd rather put my money in physical assets.
Right.
I'm just like, I'm never going to be the guy that only has digital assets. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not real to me when I look at.
That's how I feel too, though.
When I look at numbers on the screen, these numbers can change every day. Like if I move money from one bank account to another bank account, it's like, what am I doing? I'm pressing a button and it goes here. Like, why is it? It's too easy. It's too easy, and they make it easy for us. They want us to move our money out there so that it's easy for them to control and things like that. But for me, I'd rather just have the physical collectible. Like, I think if we need to bring this back, I don't want to get too broad out there, but I think if we bring this back to the hobby context here, like all these companies that are trying to get us to vault our cards with them.
Oh, yes.
How many vaults are out there? eBay's got one. Golden's got one. PWCC's got one.
No, even eBay does.
eBay, yeah. So many vaults out there, right?
This isn't PSA now, or
PSA has a vault. PSA has a vault, and the thing is, like, they want us to vault our cards with them so that they can control it, and it makes us use their platform so that we want to sell it. Right? It makes it easier to transact, and they're trying to make it really easy for us. They scan it. They buy insurance. We can trade it easily, this and that, but it really it takes away from the experience for me. And then also, I think it's just, it can be manipulated too easily. You know what I mean? When cards get transacted way too many times, the price can be manipulated, and then that's how we find ourselves in a situation like we did like late last year, where prices were tanking and things like that. So that's just kind of like what I've been thinking about. Whenever I see these major things happen, okay, I just kind of reaffirm my belief that physical collectibles are the way to go.
Mm-hmm. Oh, most definitely.
Okay, let's go on to the next subject here. What bends my corner?
Yeah, bends my corner.
Anything on your mind?
Just the usual of people trying to lowball me on eBay for like a $500 card, and then they say, "Oh, it's last sold on eBay for $50," and I go look for the sale, and I don't see the sale anywhere that they're talking about. So I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I, like you said, I don't. And plus, even if I did, if they want something really, lowball price, then they need to see what other cards are available for sale as well. But when they're all being bought, and you see all the sales have happened all in the week or 2 weeks time span, and then there's no cards, say, of this card left, that means it's pretty popular. And what is capitalism? It's supply and demand. If there's less of those cards and no cards left, then the price is pretty much going to go up. Agree or disagree?
It sounds like you're talking about how to comp a card, right?
Yeah.
Right. So are you finished? So I can add it.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking you. Now I've passed the baton to you, Dan.
So I made this post last week before, as I was getting ready for the Dallas Card Show, as I was pricing my cards.
Mm-hmm.
And basically I was giving my thoughts on how you should comp a card.
Okay.
And this is one of the most debated topics in the hobby of how you should use a comp. Some people say you should use the last sale. Some people say you should use an average of the last sale. Some people say you should take into account what is available, things like that, right?
Exactly.
Many different ways to get into this. And my thoughts are, I posted my thoughts on what I think it is, but basically what it comes down to is there is no right way. It all comes down to negotiation. Everything is negotiable. Okay.
Exactly.
Everything is negotiable. Now, when you negotiate with somebody, you have to use certain factors to take into consideration to make your argument, right? Whether it should be high or low. So for me, the arguments that I always talk about are, I always take the last sale within a month. If there's multiple sales within a month,
okay.
Then I'll take an average, okay, of maybe the last week or 2 weeks or so. But then I also compare it to what is available online. Okay. Because if I have the only card available, I'm not going to necessarily hold myself to that last sale. But if the card, if I have available, if somebody has it online, I can choose. And here's the important part, guys. Yes. I can choose to compete with the price online,
right,
by matching it or beating it, or I can choose not to, right? And these are the things that you need to consider when you have a negotiation. And it just comes down to the negotiation. If I'm really motivated, I will negotiate and I will be flexible. If I'm not motivated to move a card, I'll be firm. And that's what it is. And there's no right way to do it. And it's not right or wrong to do it either way. But I think people need to understand that, because I feel like, especially with new people getting into the hobby, I feel like they have to, when you go to a dealer, you feel like the dealer has to buy it at 70%, right? And I saw a lot of signs at the Dallas Card Show saying, big signs, buying in big sign, 70%, 70% of last comp or something like that, right?
Right.
I call that the margin game. And
why is that the margin game?
Because they're buying at 70%, trying to sell it at 90 or 100 or whatever.
Okay. Right.
That's the margin game. And some of our friends do it. Jordan does it. If you're a professional flipper, if you do this full time, you do it. I understand. It's part of the game, right?
Right.
I just want people to know that there are other options out there and that you don't always have to do it. You only have to do it if you're going to go to somebody who's going to buy everything and they're going to cash you out. And if you can make money or you don't want the cards, you can do that. That's fine. But not everybody has to play by those rules. Everything's up to negotiations. Okay. And I just want people to know that. So it kind of bends my corner when I see signs like that and people assume that that's the only thing that they have to do. It's not. It's all up to negotiation. But you should consider that if you have a very common card, then you're going to be more tied to the comp. But if you have a very rare card, then you have more room to negotiate a price that works for you. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's basically over that. Anything you want to add to there?
Well, I was pretty happy actually the last 3 shows that when people come to us at the table, that they have been more understandable about the customer versus dealer relationship, and knowing that the dealer has a little more overhead than the customer. So they've been a little more uh, fluctuating on the price and more lenient on the price for me. They're not giving it 100% comp anymore. I was getting that a lot for the past couple of years. And this time they're a little more understandable. I feel like a little more knowledgeable when they go to the shows. Thank goodness, because it's like, why do I have to pay 100%? Like, what am I going to charge it at now when there's 5 other cards? I can't, add another $50 to it. I can't even sell it for 100% because no one ever buys my cards at a show for the price I have it tagged at.
I think, and I put this in my post on Instagram. You guys can check it out. Feel free to share it too, guys. I put that a reasonable expectation in either scenario is that you should at least have a 20% margin on the card. If somebody quotes me the last comp on a card and there's no other ones available, I tell these people, okay, assume that I bought the card at the last comp. If you're going to hold me to that, assume that I'm the last person that bought it. Okay. And if I'm the last person that bought it, I'm not going to sell it for what I bought it for. I didn't buy the card to wholesale it. I bought the card to retail it. So therefore, I should have at least a 20% markup on it. That's my logic when somebody tries to hold me to the last comp on that. If there are none available. If there are cards available, then I'll be like, okay, I can choose to match it or beat it or whatever, but everything is ultimately up to discussion and negotiation.
So true. Yeah. Thank goodness.
Okay, so if you guys have any comments about that, questions, put it in the comment section. We're almost there. Let's get to our mail days. Do you have anything to show off?
Yeah, give me 1 second here. I want to show off one more thing. I'm going to bring it here. Okay, here it is. This is something I wanted to show because I saw someone left something in the comments, so it reminded me I wanted to show this. There it is. Well, when I was at the Dallas Card Show this past weekend, I bought a couple of boxes, and I was getting, I was getting very lucky over the weekend. I got that Allen Gitter box, and I pulled a little mini superfractor of a baseball player. Me, I'm like you. We don't really collect baseball cards.
You had the hot hand this weekend.
And I sold, well, I traded it immediately because it was a 1-of-1 superfractor baseball. And then I bought a box of Pixar with the guy who I sold the superfractor baseball card of, Allen Gitter. And the very first box, the very first pack, and that's actually the very first pack I got out of the Allen Gitter that I pulled that superfractor, and I pulled a Cody Bellinger on-card auto in the same pack. I was like, that was the first pack. Then I opened a box of Pixar. The very first pack, I hit that case hit, and here it is right here. And what is that called, Dan?
It's called a double rainbow stamp.
Double rainbows! Oh my God! Remember that video?
That's a big card, guys.
Oh my gosh! A Monsters Inc.
So I think that card's worth $150. I could be wrong, but top of my head, I think it's worth $150, maybe $200. But I think that you should try to submit that to BGS, and if you black label that card, it's worth over $1,000.
We've seen people left and right submitting at the shows. Even when I was at the Burbank show, you weren't there, and I saw people getting their Weiss Schwartz cards back at either tin pristine or even a black label.
You need to submit that ASAP. Don't sit on it.
No, sir. I'll send it this week. Okay.
Try to get that black label.
I promise, man.
The jackpot there.
And then I've been buying Cody. Whoops. Dang it. I hit something weird. Okay. Then I've been buying some Cody Rhodes Spectrum autograph cards, getting ready for WrestleMania and WrestleCon. So look at there. Can you see them?
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes, because he still has the same outfit on, which is great. Oh my goodness. He finally I found out this guy finally has an Upper Deck AEW card. You know how like Panini and Topps does like Topps now and Panini Instant? Well, Upper Deck does like dated moments for like debut wrestlers and or for whatever sport Upper Deck does. That's how they do it. That's like their version of instant and now. And finally, Danhausen, guys, has a card. Look at him do it. He's kicking somebody. I don't know who that is, but his debut match or dated moments. Look at Danhausen. He's looking rough, but that's his very first legit card.
What's this thing he does? He does like this.
Oh yeah, he puts a spell on you, and you're like, what? And then all of a sudden you get stuck, you get frozen, and you can't get out.
Yeah.
But he is the biggest merch seller in AEW right now.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Yes, his merch sells out instant. Then I got John Cena's got these cool decadent cards for Leaf. Cena will be at WrestleMania, and this is a 2 out of 2 card. So there you can't see it. Maybe I don't know. And then I got a badass Billy Gunn or Daddy Ass is he in AEW? Because Dan, over the weekend we're gonna be Scissor Me Daddy.
I'm not scissoring you, man. I'm not scissoring.
You're not gonna scissor me. And Dan, you'll love it. Here's another Leaf card that I bought. This is really cool. This is kind of like a mashup. Hulk Hogan and Marvel Incredible Hulk. Well, Brian Gray of Leaf did this one of Hulk Hogan out of 112, but it's an animated Hulk Hogan as the Incredible Hulk.
I remember I saw that.
Otto. Like that? So that's the cards. Cool. You can tell I'm very excited about WrestleCon, WrestleMania. I've got tons of stuff ready for it. There you go. Dan, your turn, buddy.
Okay, so I only got 2 things to show off here.
What?
Unless I'm waiting for a package.
He only spent $20 in Dallas, folks, and he was serious. He wasn't lying.
I'm trying to be very, very cautious about my buying habits this year. My wife told me I spent too much money, so I'm being very cautious here. But I am waiting for a package, so maybe on air I might get a delivery and we can have a big unboxing. But we'll see. Okay. All right. So first thing I got here is I'll show off is I finally got myself a Hulk Hogan Transcendent Auto. This is out of 10.
Woo!
Number 9 out of 10. Hulk Hogan right there.
Where'd you get that?
eBay.
Okay.
So Hulk Hogan autos. I'm trying to buy them up. I just
on card Hulk Hogan cards are very hard to find.
It has to be on card.
Yes.
It has to be on card. So this is a Transcendent. So just got this today. So that's very cool.
Because folks, Hulk Hogan and even Ric Flair signed a lot of autos, but they're mostly stickers. So finding an on-card auto of any of those 2 legends is very hard to get. And I'd rather have one of those.
What I recently learned?
What?
Sometimes Hulk Hogan signs his name differently.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Sometimes he signs it as Hulkster, Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Sometimes he'll put inscriptions. So I'm always looking for like different versions. Just
have you had those different versions?
No.
Just the Hulk Hogan one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen the Hulkster one before, and people, when they list it on eBay, they'll say like auto variation.
Yeah. You gotta buy rarity. Mm-hmm. You gotta buy rarity. Okay. So there's that. And then the other thing I got, this is really cool.
Cool.
So, okay.
Oh, yeah. I got to show mine too. Sorry.
So this is a giant size X-Men #1. I got this in a trade a few months ago.
Yeah.
And it was an alternative grading company. It was not CGC. It was like CBBC or something like that. I don't know.
What is that?
Okay. So what I did is I sent it into, I did some research and I found a comic presser. Okay. He goes by
that's right.
Valor Comics. Okay.
Okay. Valor Comics.
And this is what I'm learning about comics. So you can crack the comic, okay, and you can press it and smooth out any creases that maybe lines or bends or things like that. You can remove restoration. You can do all sorts of things to comics that you can't do to cards, basically.
People don't freak out about that.
No,
other collectors don't.
It's standard industry practice. Okay. So, anyways, the grade was a 5.5. Right?
5.5 on another grading company slab.
Yeah. Was it 5.5 or 5? I think. I forget. I think it was a 5.5. 5.5. So I sent it in to him. He told me no guarantees, whatever, but I know I needed it in a CGC slab.
Yeah, this is kind of equivalent of being like a GMA slab or something for cards.
Yeah. It would not have moved in any
in that way, slab, so, right?
And then also it will impact the value of it too. So I had him do his comic thing, and he looked at it, and then I got it back today. I already know the grade, but I'm going to show you guys here. Okay, so here it is. Here's the big reveal. Okay, first time I'm showing anybody. I'm going to post it on Instagram later.
Yeah, make sure you
first time I'm showing you guys.
You got it over your name.
Okay, like that. Okay, I'm trying not to get the glare on it. Okay, so this is a between two slabs exclusive reveal. Okay, here we go.
Let's see it.
From a 5.5 to a
boom. We can't see it, Dan. Lower it down, dude. Lower it down.
6.5. You can see it right there. You can see it right there. Put your glasses on. 6.5.
You're blocking it.
6.5. How am I blocking it? You can see it right there.
Your name tag's over it. There you go. There you go.
6.5.
You took it up another notch.
6.5. So it went from a 5.5 to a 6.5. It might have even been a 5. I don't even remember. I sent it in so long ago.
That's still great. Doesn't matter, man.
That's I think it was actually a 5. It went up like 3
grades. So they took it up a notch and a half.
Yes. So that was super cool, and it just all came from pressing the comic book, and it increased the value. It was a $2,000 comic before. Now it's like about a $3,000 comic, I would say. But it increased the value just from doing that, and it was a relatively small investment. The guy charges like $30 to press.
I was going to ask you. That's just $30.
Not that much. Okay. Not that much. He has full service. He'll submit the comic for you and everything like that. He goes by Valor Comics on Instagram. So check him out. Tell him the Great Curator sent you, and he will take good care of you. His name is Dan. Also, he's a great source for comic books.
Dan of Valor Comics.
Yeah, if you have questions, this guy, he can work the magic. Okay, on these things. So I got this back today. I'm very excited. This is a key issue. I love this issue.
Definitely a key issue.
And I will have this. X-Men. Yeah, I will have this available at some point after I'm done enjoying it, but got it in the mail today. So there it is. Very cool.
How do you enjoy it? Like look at it or something? Like
just I like to have something in my collection for a little bit. I like to look at it. I like to display it. And then when I'm ready to let it go, I'll sell it, whatever. Unless somebody wants to buy it from me right away. I usually enjoy it for a little bit, and then I let it go. Okay. So that's pretty much all my mail day.
Oh, let me show you one more. I forgot to show this. I know you wanted me to show this one too. I totally blanked out. But anyway, I did a cash trade on this. I had an Mbappe refractor rookie, and I got this one, which was also a 6.5. Maybe does your friend also do magazines? I don't know.
Yes,
maybe
he does.
But this is from 1998 November Auto Week. I guess this is a British publication. And if you don't know who this kid is, he's just 13 years old in here, but it is Lewis Hamilton.
Why is he on the magazine at a 13-year-old kid?
I know. I did not know he was a child prodigy. He was already well known.
Wow.
Yeah, he was already known, I guess, in the go-kart leagues or whatever those are, where you start off, in go-karts and stuff.
Oh.
And 13 years old. I mean, he becomes a star almost 10 years later. I mean, he's almost 37, 38 now. This is 1998. But 13 years old. Look at that. And I had to get this. This guy had it. And I was like, this is neat. This is something unusual that I would love to own, because you don't see this every single day coming across at your table. So I had to make a deal with this guy. Really nice guys from Miami. So thank you very much for making that deal with me.
I'm telling you, magazines, Type 1 photos, comic books, even toys, they get attention in showcases because they're so unique.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so that's our mail days. So let's get into the comment section. I know we have a lot of comments to go through here, so we're going to try to get to all of them. All right. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, feel free to put them in. All right.
I always say that Dan's been rubbing off on me. I've been buying more unusual things lately and just buying in general.
I call it the curator effect, guys.
I know the curator effect.
The curator effect. People say I'm an influencer now. I don't know. All right.
A bad influencer. What's up, Carlos? Good evening, y'all. Carlos again, ready for another great live. Yep, we're doing it well. Doing it again. Mark the Collector. Hello, guys. What's up, Mark? Emmanuel, it was fun watching the live from Dallas, wasn't it, man? Did you watch all 5 hours? Mim Maker, do people try to pay 80% comps for you guys, or do they pay at comps?
They try. They
start down like 50, and I say no go.
They all get the same answer. They all say take a hike. That's what I tell them. I say get your. I say it. I'm saying it a lot nicer this way, but in person I'll be a lot more mean. Take a hike is what I usually say.
Yeah, because like a lot of times, most of the stuff that Dan and I have, there aren't comps, and if there are, I'm like, there's not even stuff we have listed most of the time. So I'm like, where am I going to find this again? That's the hardest thing.
If I have a card that's available, I will try my best to match the price if it makes sense for me to do so.
Yes.
But I'll tell you right now, most of my stuff is rare, one-off, one of ones, or extremely low pop, rare stuff. So I have the luxury of just telling these people to go pound sand. You know what I mean? And and when I tell these people, this is my go-to comeback. All right. You got feel free to steal it. Anybody can steal this, okay? And I tell people if they say, "Oh, here's the comp on it, and I want," or here's a light comp. People always try to use light comps for me, right? They say, "Okay, here's a light comp on it, so I want to be at like 70-80% just in case it goes down or whatever." I just tell people I didn't buy this thing to wholesale it. I bought it to retail it. So if you want it, you can make an offer. If not, take a hike. And you can only do that if you have rare stuff, though. But if you have common stuff, I mean, you're subject to the market price of it.
Oh yes, most definitely. I mean, I've seen the Rhea Ripley's double in price, triple in price over the past month. Yeah. And people are trying to go to comps that were a month ago. And let me tell you, her popularity has definitely risen in the month. And I'm like, they're not that price anymore. They're not listed at that price.
I give you an example.
So don't try. And is that the Disney?
This is my Walt Disney autograph. Look how big this slab is. This is as big as my head. Okay. Big cut signature, Walt Disney, right there.
It's like a piece of stationery or something.
Right? I want $15,000 for this. If somebody's willing to pay up or get close to that, that's my asking price on this. People will try to use light comps. They'll say, well, this Walt Disney check, this commonly found check sold for like $9,000, or this little tiny cut signature sold for like $6,000. Can you get closer to that? And I say, no, dude. Even if this was the same item, I didn't buy it to wholesale it. Okay, I bought it to retail it. That's my price. If you want it, cool. If not, it's okay. Okay, so moving on.
Move on up. Zup Chili. Wrestling cards are fire. Yes, they are. They're in the new UFC right now. Ed, evening, Ed. Fellas, now from Cali. Oh, Ed, he's in Cali right now, visits his family, I think.
Awesome.
From Houston. Carlos, wrestling and Star Wars is on the up and up. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Now we got to get Daps to start breaking some more wrestling cards.
Absolutely. We were talking about it.
Carlos, you guys are trendsetters. Try to be.
People always copy us, man. I'm telling you, like these guys, so many of these guys, they sell the same things. It's like it's like I walk around the showroom floor and it's like almost like,
yeah, when you see 750 tables, what do you mostly see?
Chrome cards, modern day Chrome cards. And it's just like, I don't know. You want to be
Chrome
different.
Chrome and Prism.
You want to be different. You want to have unique things. If you want to compete at these shows, you gotta be able to do that. Okay.
Andrew, good evening, Dan and Merle. Is there a Pixar equivalent for like horror villains? I would love to, for example, pull a refractor of Mike Myers, Jason, Freddy Krueger, Ghostface. As of right now, no. I mean, you'll have to go back to like maybe the cards from the 80s, but nothing current. The last thing I know that maybe Gas Cars Trading might produce a set of these cards in the near future, but that's all I know of right now. But they should have them.
I don't know, and I wouldn't know about it. And I'll make this confession online. I'm actually scared of horror movies. I don't watch horror movies at all. I don't like it. I don't like gory stuff. I don't like scary stuff. So I would not know anything about that.
You never watched a Halloween or a Friday 13th movie?
I've seen clips here and there, but I don't like that stuff. I don't like to be scared. Okay.
I don't either, but I have to watch them sometimes.
I'm not that type of guy that likes to watch and get scared and see, all that crazy stuff that happens. The scariest thing I've ever watched is like Walking Dead, which is more like dramatic than anything, but I don't like horror movies. I'm not that type of guy. I'm not your guy.
So you haven't seen the X or Pearl movies at all yet? The new ones?
No.
Which is very good. Yes.
No,
I actually like those.
I don't like any of that stuff. I'm a happy person. I like to watch.
Well, me too. Okay. But every now and then they're kind of fun just for the production of it. Emmanuel Delgadillo, what was the percentage of sports versus non-sports pop culture cards in Dallas? It's always like 89%.
Yeah, I was about to say 10%, and 5% of that is you and me.
Yeah, no, right?
So I would say still very small. Actually, no. Let me correct that, because in the other room by the garage,
the Starlight
room, that is a lot of pop culture stuff. So I would say, conservatively, I would say 25-30%.
And then, like we just mentioned, I feel like a lot of these sports card dealers now have a little section in their display case now of other, non-sports or pop culture.
I know a lot of sports dealers that have a little bit of Star Wars, Marvel, and
they're all dabbling in it. They're all dabbling in it
because they all watch us. I know they do. I know you guys watch us. Mm-hmm. I know you guys watch us, and you're seeing what we're doing, and you're trying to get a little piece of that game.
Yes.
And they're embracing it. They're saying, you know what? I like this stuff. I like Star Wars. I wear Star Wars t-shirts. I wear Marvel t-shirts. I like this stuff. I watch the movies. It makes sense to collect a card. But you know what? I had this conversation with a guy who's Jeff. I think his name is Jeff, out of Florida.
Okay.
And he's like, oh yeah, I like Marvel. I just can't get over the values of these cards. I can't pay $1,000 for this card or whatever. I can pay $1,000 for a football card, basketball card, but I can't pay $1,000 for this, right? Even though that's what it's going for. I can't get my mind around that value. And that's what I've been talking about for a long time, of how people have this perceived value of what these cards are supposed to be. They think that these cards are for kids, right? So they don't want to pay up the money that people are paying for these cards. But once they apply the same logic that they have for sports cards, and they transfer that over to pop culture cards like you and me did, then you will see the value of these cards. You will see that these cards have popular characters, okay? That they're rare, that they're numbered, that they come from legacy brand sets, immaculate, exquisite, metal, things like that. They have all the same attributes as sports cards are. The only difference is the subject matter, which is Marvel, Star Wars, or whatever. So once people get over that mental hump, then I think they're gonna that market will still open up to those guys.
True.
Okay. Let's see here.
Andrew, again, congrats on a successful show in Dallas. You guys grinded and put it in the work /hours. Respect. Here's to continued success going forward. There's room for us all to do well and be happy. So true, Andrew.
Definitely.
Just card tickets.
I did pick up my first couple tickets. I picked up original Star Wars Japanese tickets. Yes, and I'm going to get those graded. I picked it up from my friend Matt.
Those were awesome. I can't believe someone had them around at the Dallas show.
Yeah, I need to show it off on my Instagram, but I picked up opening day premiere tickets from all the original Star Wars movies, 77, 80, and 83, Japanese versions. I think it's really cool.
That's crazy they had them all. That was crazy.
Yeah. So I made a trade for that. So I'll get those slabbed up unless somebody wants to take it off my hands before I do that. But yeah, so tickets, I think tickets are going to be a thing too, but the tickets have to have good eye appeal. They can't just be like something printed from Ticketmaster. You know what I mean?
I saw those cards and they definitely have eye appeal. Yeah. I'm not going to argue with that one. You scored on those.
Appreciate that. let me see here. Here I want to go back to Andrew's comment because I want to.
Okay, why is that?
Because I want to talk about this real quick, where he says, "Continue. Here's to continued success going forward." One thing that we're trying to do here is we are basically trying to make our podcast one of the premier podcasts in the hobby for pop culture stuff. We want to position ourselves to be the pop culture reference, to bring attention to the sets that everybody loves to collect, to advocate for pop culture as a legit alternative to sports cards, right? Because really, I think about this all the time. We're pop culture collectors living in a sports card world, right? It's called the Dallas Sports Card. It's called the Dallas Card Show, but it really should be the Dallas Sports Card Show. We have infiltrated them and have started to spread alternative collectibles in that show, but still we are looked at as kind of like the odd people, right? The odd guys, the nerds, you could say, right? So what we want to do is if we can secure sponsorships with companies, I think we can bring a lot of promotion and attention to all the things that we love to collect: comic books, toys, Star Wars, Marvel, wrestling, all that stuff, music, all this stuff. So anything that you guys can do to support us along the way, we'd appreciate it. You can do that by subscribing, making sure you subscribe to our channel, which you guys already do, making sure that you watch our videos so that we get our view counts up and everything like that. And then once we start working and doing these collabs and partnerships, whatever you guys can do to support us, that would be great. Using the links that we provide, the discount codes we provide, all that stuff, commenting. We love comments. Comment.
Yes.
Definitely. You guys don't realize that the analytics between doing these shows is the more comments we get, the more engagement we have, the better we look. So we appreciate everybody who's hanging in there with us and showing us support and love. And, we will continue to build this to be one of the biggest podcast channels for everybody in the hobby. Okay. With your support. Thank you very much.
I mean, I was amazed how many people came to our booth this weekend, and they were saying, they pretty much just, do sports cards, but they want to dabble and get into the non-sports card hobby. It's
fun. It makes sense. It's just more fun. It's more enjoyable, I would say. Unless, you can collect sports cards too. I'll still buy a sports card here or there, but for us, for people that enjoy this type of content, these IPs and things like that, it's just a lot of fun to be playing in that space.
Toa, I think because of the recession, more and more people are buying low and middle to put in more work to make margins. That's exactly what's going on, Toa.
It's less risk. If you buy a $100 card, if it goes down 10-20%, you lost $20, So it's just less risk than versus like $1,000 card, $10,000 card. There's still a lot of people that play in that high-end stuff, but definitely I think right now the hobby's in a good space where the focus is on the low end, which I think it should be. I don't think people should be chasing high-end stuff, putting all their money into it, because it's very easy to get burned if you don't know what you're doing.
But still, do you think at Dallas people are still buying $50,000 cards there?
There's a small group of people. I call this the Squid Game people.
Okay? It's the Squid Game people.
Yeah, the guys with the golden mask that are in Squid Games. There's a level way above us. Right?
Okay.
Way above us. There's a level of people that play like that. They play like that. And what I'll say about that, from what I know, it's a lot of it is just like they're playing with things that they already have. They have a $50,000 card that they can't move, they can't sell, so they'll trade it to somebody else for another $50,000 card, or they'll trade down, right? They'll trade down and get like 10 cards, and then they liquidate that. So that's a game that people play on that very high level, but it doesn't really apply to most people, to be honest. So, but it's cool. I've got no problem with it, and maybe one day I'll be at that stage, but for most people play in that mid to low tier items. I would say anything from like $15,000 down is where most people play.
Yeah, and plus I didn't have it back so much this time in Dallas, but the last two shows, which was Dallas and Burbank, I was having a lot of customers coming to me trying to sell me really high-end stuff. And I'm like, why is everybody bringing these cards that are a few $1,000s or more? This is way out of my price range right now. I don't want to spend this much. Like, I want people to bring me low and mid-tier stuff.
Trying to cash out.
Is that what's going on?
Yeah, people always email me or DM me with cards that they want to sell, and they're like, okay, $5,000, $10,000, you know? I'm like, dude, I'm not going to spend that type of money.
I know, right?
If I buy anything that high, it's going to be like very, very rare.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm not even supposed to spend that type of money. Okay. My wife would kill me.
Who said that? Who said
What?
that? You're not allowed to buy it.
Oh, you know, like I'm just saying, like, I've got a family, I've got responsibilities. I can't go out there and spend $10,000, $20,000. I would love to. I would love to, guys. Believe me. But, you know, I got to be responsible to a certain extent. And like I said, the higher the card value, the more risk is involved.
Right. And it's hard. It's going to take a little longer to probably move it.
Right. I've got some big cards that I've had for a while that it's hard to move. But when you move it, it feels good.
Oh,
you know, so
of course.
You got to understand, you just got to be patient with the card. The more expensive a card is, the longer you're going to hold it, which is the way it should be. The way it should be, because it should be rare, it should be expensive, and it should appreciate in value to the point where you can move it. It's not something that you necessarily want to flip, you know? But you know, that's just how it is. Okay. I don't even know how we got there. I think we went off on a tangent there, but
no worries. I love it. Because I want to know too. Emmanuel, I've always had a hard time to find a community for non-sports pop culture until I found you guys. So there is definitely demand out there that you guys are filling. Thank you so much. Emmanuel, thank you so much.
Yes, that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to have a forum where we could openly discuss these things and promote these things and bring attention to all the things that we love, that we're pretty sure other people will love too if they know that it exists. So that's kind of like what we do here. We get made fun of a lot. People attack us. They say, oh, we're pumping up this shit and all these cards are worthless and this and that. They just don't know. We live in a different world, right? We are very much in the sports card world. That's our space that we operate.
Right.
There are other shows, there are other comic shows and non-sports shows, but those shows, those communities are much smaller or have a different platform.
Right.
We just happen to be in the sports card world. We started off selling sports cards, buying, selling, trading sports cards, and we transitioned into pop culture cards because that's really what we love more.
And this show kind of transitioned into that as well as we went along.
And we've created a market for it within the sports card world. And we're trying to build that. And, you know, so this is just how we operate. And sometimes it's hard for us because people attack us a lot. But I think that we have a lot of support. We have a lot of support. So that kind of shows you that there is demand for the type of content that we produce. And I think that as two people that have created a platform to talk about this, a weekly podcast, Instagram accounts, things like that, I feel like we have to be a shield sometimes for a lot of people that don't have the same platform. We have to be a shield. We have to take the hits. We have to take the shots, but we do it so that other people don't have to. And then we continue to bring exposure to these cards and talk about it and have a place for people to enjoy this type of content. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Okay. So
why do you think we talk about it so much? Because we enjoy talking about it. Yes. That's the most important thing. We want to do a show that we believe in, that we also enjoy as well. Yes. Not just doing just to do it.
Yes. And I think the hard work is paying off because we got approached by several different companies that want us to talk about their pop culture. Other companies that are getting into the pop culture space and making products and services around that, they're talking with us. They want us to start helping promote that. So they see value in the content that we're producing, which is awesome, right? But I think the real value is in the community that we have.
You're right.
That they're trying to access, which is great. So again, we love all the support.
Which is you guys.
We love all the support that we get from you guys. And as long as you guys continue to support us, I think we are very close to taking this podcast Between Two Slabs to the next level.
Right.
Okay. Moving on.
Ooh, what was that? Okay, CC. Good evening, guys. Good to hear that show went well. Did I hear you correctly when you said promoters are artificially buying items in the show?
No, you did not hear
No.
correctly. They
No,
are
you did
not
not. I was
artificially
wondering.
buying. They are not artificially buying anything. They are liquidating. They are buying things for their shop or whatever.
Yes.
So one thing that the Burbank Card Show does very well is Burbank Card Shop. They buy things. Okay, they're known as the cash you out, liquidate you. So one thing that they do is they have their people at the show buying cards. And when you buy people's collections, you buy their cards, you give them cash, that cash gets spread around the economy of the show. They don't just go home. Some people do, but most people will take that cash and they'll go buy more cards. And that's how you inject liquidity or inject money into the card show so that you get people to spend more money. Okay. Otherwise, you have people trying to sell all the time. And if nobody's buying, then there's no transactions happening. Okay, but it's not artificial. It's not anything like that. It's just part of the card show. It's facilitating activity within the card show. Okay, let's see here.
Zup Chili, I watched the whole Dallas live on replay. Oh my goodness, you did! Wow, good job. Thank you.
Appreciate that.
That was a hell of a show to watch. 25 Perez. So you are Mojo Sports Video.
I think he's saying I'm in Mojo Sports. I don't know. I haven't seen it.
But then he said Moto, I think. On the
Mojo, well, no, Mojo Sports.
No, he said something afterwards too, though.
Well, whatever it is, let me see. Moto Sports. I don't know. So you
is that the video where you with Daps and his?
I don't know. You might have to rephrase that.
Yeah.
Perez. Sorry, we don't understand.
Adrian, CV Sports Cards. What's up, guys? Hope you're having a great night. Yep, dude. Wish you were in Dallas with us. Mark the Collector. Yep, this channel is going to keep on growing. Thank you, Mark. Carlos, good luck with the sponsorship. Thank you, Carlos.
Appreciate it, guys. Appreciate it. We're trying. We're trying. So once we start, if I'm able to lock in some deals, because it's got to be worth our time.
Yes.
These sponsors, they're asking us to do things for them, and it's got to be worth our time to do it. I don't want to just, I don't know, post an affiliation link, and I don't want to just do one thing one time, because I don't want to I don't want to water down our channel here. So I'm looking for the right type of sponsorships where they're actually going to be committed to us, and then allow us the opportunity to make really fun content for you guys and be consistent about it. That's the big thing.
Exactly.
And here's the thing. I think I'm just going to put this out there. I found out somebody sent me that somebody's making another Between Two Slabs podcast.
Oh, you're going to tell us that.
Right?
Yes.
Somebody ripped off our name, Between Two Slabs. They're doing it on Whatnot or something. So I think that if you get to the point where people are imitating you or taking your name or whatever, I think we're getting to a point where people are noticing us. I
wonder if they know or not.
I mean, probably not. Honestly, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Probably not. Between Two Slabs is just an awesome name, and somebody just came up with it.
Well, if they start off their show with Rise and Shine, then we have a problem.
I know. But remember, we were the first. We're the first. We started over a year ago. We have over 70 episodes on YouTube. We are the first Between Two Slabs podcast.
You heard it first.
Really, we should be the only ones.
We've been doing this since the fall of 2021.
Right.
CV Sports Cards, Ryan Nolan, Breakout Cards. He's very knowledgeable, and his book is called Spotting Fakes. Yes,
that's the kid.
I've seen that.
Mm-hmm.
City by the Bay. Dan, I want us to talk sometimes on Pick Your Brain regarding some pro tips.
Sure. You can always message me. I'll do my best to answer your questions.
Spurs superfan. That's crazy at the point. Might as well sell on eBay.
He's talking about the 70% comps.
Yeah.
And I posed this question a while ago on Instagram. I said, if people are trying to cash you out at 70%, wouldn't it just make sense to sell it on eBay to make 87%? Like, I posed that question, and a lot of people got upset with it. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Oh, I remember that one.
I mean, I try not to talk bad about this because I know a lot of guys that play the margin game, buy at 70%. And I personally think it's really annoying, but I understand that. That's what they're doing. I don't think that's sustainable. If I was to talk to any of these guys, I would say that's not sustainable. You should probably find a better way to position yourself. But it's a great way to make quick cash if you can do it. You know what I mean? But it's not something that we do.
Emmanuel, great topics, especially the comping and card section. Thank you, man.
Appreciate that.
Mark the Collector, WrestleCon is going to be fun. Are you going? That lineup keeps getting better every day, Mark. Danny Sanchez. Hello, guys. What's up, Danny, with the Eagles helmet? Papa Jim, one of our Dallas fellow friends here. Hello, fellas. What a great Dallas show that was. We'll make sure to hang out more at the next one. What fun. Safe travels. Always good to see you. And it was also good to see Jim's wife, too, for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Glad she let you out, buddy.
Peter.
Hope you got to hang out with your grandkids this weekend since they're on spring break. Zach of all trades, let's go. Thanks, Zach. Zach, again, is there any pressable defects in the notes?
Yeah, so he's talking about this X-Men comic. And here's one thing I learned about comics, guys, that they have grader notes. And in the notes, grader notes, they'll tell you, okay, there's a crease here, there's whatever in the corner. And some of those defects can be remedied by pressing the comic. So that's a cool little aspect of this grading company CGC that you can actually do that. Which is exactly what I did.
They do it like in an ironing press or what?
I don't know the secret.
Like you do clothes? You don't even know what it is.
I think they have a press on it, but I think they lay books on it or something. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how the
sausage is made. I'm just curious to know.
I don't know how the sausage is made. I just take my grade, okay? They tell me they got me a grade bump. I'll take it.
Wow. James, when are you getting into the Jordan cards?
I mean, I have Jordan cards, but we do pop culture now. Only if I can really pick up like interesting Jordan cards like flares. If I can pick up an 86 flare, I'll do it. An 84 star, I'll do it.
When's the last time you bought one?
A long time ago. Long time. But people have offered me in trade, so I'll still take it in trade and things like that.
Yeah, why not, right? They're pretty liquid, aren't they?
Yeah, it's not something I'm actively looking for. To be honest, is that what he's talking about, or is he talking about the Jordan fake cards?
Yeah, I'm wondering as well.
I think if you're talking about the Jordan fake card, James, sorry, we kind of did this out of order
because you said you were gonna talk about it at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, we already talked about that. I already got into it about fake cards and things like that. I think it's unfortunate, but that's just what happens when things are valued very high. You're gonna get people that try to scam you. So that's unfortunate, but we did talk about that earlier.
So people have been doing this with Jordan cards for quite a while now.
Yes, it's very heavily faked, which is unfortunate, but I don't know. The only thing that can be done is you just got to be able to spot the differences, which there are many reference videos online about how to spot a fake Jordan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you guys can check that out. Something about looking under a loop and seeing how pixelated it is one of them, things like that. But there's a lot of source material about that on how to spot a fake Jordan, so you guys can check that out.
What do we got next, buddy? Donkeys, Magic the Gathering doing 1/1 Lord of the Ring card, new for TCG.
Yeah, that's
Did you know that?
I seen it. I thought it was cool. I'm not a Magic the Gathering guy, but I think
are they already out, the Lord of the Ring cards?
I don't think so.
Because this is the Magic Gathering did the Transformers, right?
Yeah.
You got those, right?
No, I never got one. But
you never did?
Yeah, I'm looking for a PSA 10 one, but I'm not going to pay a lot of money for it. I'd buy it as a novelty.
Why are they expensive?
I don't know. I haven't checked the market on it, but after meeting Peter Cullen, I am re-energized into building my Optimus Prime collection. So we'll see.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Zach of all trades, what's your thoughts on 22 Panini Super Mario Brothers limited edition prisms? They're cool if you can get a high grade on those. I heard they're really tough to grade, but so getting a 9 or 10 would be a great investment.
I think they're really cool, but I'm not going to overpay for them because I think the pop.
That too. Grow. Yeah.
The pop counts will grow on that stuff because it's a modern day card. They're not numbered. I'm sure they're heavily produced. So it's just a matter of time before people send those in. But right now, I think they're pretty hard to find. So that they're harder.
They're less accessible in the U.S. because they're an import. They're from Germany and UK. Axel C. Great pickup, Merle. I've been buying memorabilia from Legends as children or before turning pro. Very old programs from past soccer legends I've been stacking up, all for the long haul. Thank you, man. That's why I got it, because it was so different. Andrew, if you guys don't open up your hobby store for safety security, what's that?
The pump room.
The pump room, hobby store for safety security reasons. Would you be interested in looking into creating and promoting your own sport, non-sport card show at the right venue? Sure, man. Why not?
Depends if the business opportunity makes sense. Yeah, we would love.
We could make a lot of money doing that, I think.
Yeah, I think it's everybody's dream to do that stuff, but I would only do it if I thought it would be good.
Dan will only do it if he can see his name and face on a banner across the door when you enter in.
Curators, card show, whatever, something like that. Okay, shameless self-promotion, guys.
Exactly.
But who knows? Who knows? We might have something in the works for that too. Okay, I'll talk to you off camera about that, Merlin.
I love things.
We might have some stuff in the works for that.
My gosh, it just keeps coming, growing.
Yeah.
My lordy. Zup Chili, love Wednesday night live stream. Well, it's usually on Tuesday, guys. Wednesday's a one-off. Dex Flow Toys, Great Curator, Merlin Cards. Are you guys looking to buy the Bloodline booklet? Oh, hell's to the yes. I saw already 2 sold on eBay. Did you see
what?
Them?
I'm missing this, man. Yeah. I must not have my auction settings correctly.
No, there's. I finally saw it because you and I were talking about the other day, and I saw
know about that because
eBay.
I don't necessarily care about the 3 other guys. I don't care about the Wild Samoans or Rikishi, but I like the other guys.
Well, that's the family, bloodline. That really is. Literally is the bloodline.
You can't have the bloodline card if you don't have the Rock on it. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
That's true. The Rock's not on there. No autograph. He just doesn't give autographs, so they can't do it.
Okay. So,
but it is like a booklet. Like it opens up like 4 sides.
I'd like to see it in person and see what that. If I saw it in person, maybe I'd change my mind.
CV Sports Cards. Dan, tell us about the experience at Heritage Auctions.
It was okay. I'm going to come out with a vlog on this. So if you guys don't know, if you guys don't know, Heritage, I don't know why. I think they got me mixed up with Pac-Man or something like that. Okay, but they
know us.
Invited me to Heritage Auctions Warehouse HQ for a tour, and I got to film content. So I'm going to make a vlog that's probably going to come out next week. On that, I'm going to make a Dallas vlog, and then I'm going to make the Heritage Auction vlog, and then I also got the tour, the Dallas Card Shop. So I'm going to give a vlog about that.
So there's a Dallas Card Shop, just like there's Burbank.
Yes,
in a Burbank Card Show.
That's Kyle's shop.
That is Kyle has his own shop too.
Yeah. So I got 3 vlogs coming out for you guys in the next 3 weeks. I don't want to give it away, but I'll just say this: oh my God, the place. I thought Heritage Auctions was like a regular operation. It is like Amazon size operation.
What? Really?
It is. The warehouse is like Amazon distribution size. It's like bigger than Costco, way bigger than Costco.
So you're saying it ain't no joke.
It's like 5 different Costco warehouses. It's so big. Took me 2 hours to walk around.
What's in there? Everything?
Everything. It is incredible, the operation. And when you learn the business side of it.
Because people got to know they do more than just sports, right?
Oh my God. They sell
everything, right?
Everything there.
Art.
Every type of collectible they sell there. They have a different division for everything. Toys, comic books, furniture, antique guns, coins, historical memorabilia, gems and minerals, everything that is collectible. They sell it there. And they do everything. They package it up. They ship it. They make printing materials. They have people that write out descriptions on the websites. They have photo studios. It was an incredible experience.
Good Lord.
Half of it, they wouldn't even let me film because there's a lot of security issues.
Right.
So they wouldn't let me film a lot of things, but they let me see some really cool stuff. Like I got to hold a moon rock in my hand, an $800,000 moon rock.
A real moon rock?
Yeah, a rock from the moon is what I'm saying. Okay, in my hand. I felt a lot of energy from that. That was really cool. I got to see a dinosaur tooth. I got to hold a dinosaur tooth the size of my head. That was pretty cool. Got
They
to see
auction off
dinosaur
a
bones.
dinosaur tooth.
Yeah, got to see like rare comic books, rare video games, rare Batman toys, all sorts of awesome stuff.
Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. I bet it was a wet dream for you, dude.
Yeah. That's an understatement.
Your
That is
head
an
exploded.
But if you ever, and see, this is kind of going to what I was talking about earlier in the show about like how I believe physical collectibles are like the way to go. If you see the type of volume of transactions that they're doing with that auction house and you ask them about the numbers, they're telling me their sales are in the billions.
Oh, I
not
believe
millions,
it.
not
Billions.
millions, not hundreds millions, the billions in sales. Okay. It will make you rethink everything about physical collectibles and how people buy, sell, and trade. And when I learned about the different services that they have, white glove services they have for collectors, I was like, oh my God, people don't even know this stuff. People don't even know this stuff. Like, this will all be in my vlog, guys. So I hope that you guys watch it. And I hope that you guys do watch it so that they see that you guys enjoy our content. Maybe they'll sponsor us too. Okay. But you know, when you like, what is the typical story? Somebody has a huge collection of stuff. They pass away. Their family inherits it. They don't know what to do with it. What do? They have like an estate sale, garage sale, and they sell things. They sell things for like 10, 20 cents on the dollar, right? Or somebody has a large collection and some guy comes in there and buys the whole thing at like 10 cents on the dollar or whatever, 50 cents on the dollar, right? Right?
Mm-hmm.
They actually have a service where they will send in their knowledgeable experts to appraise the collection for you, to tell you how much it is, what's valuable, what's not. Then they will take the collection on consignment. They will pack everything up. They will move everything out of your house. They will take it to their warehouse. They will catalog it. Then they will start sending it to auction, and they will do all the work for you and basically sell it at the market value, promote it, and you get all the money for it, whatever the collection is. And you don't have to do anything, basically. And they have the knowledge, the experts who have the knowledge to get the top value for it. They have the marketing department. They have the platform for it. Who knew, right? Who knew that they had a service like that? And I saw this one collection there where they said that the guy had so much stuff that they have been working on his collection for 7 years. They packed it up in like 16 semi trailers or whatever they call that, big rigs.
Right.
Brought it to their warehouse, and they've been sorting through this collection for 7 years. And they've been selling it off as they've been sorting it. But they did that for this guy, right? Where else who's ever heard of a service like that before? Right? And what's cool is if you have enough stuff that they can set it up where they'll basically mail you a check like every month from the auction. So it's like it's not a source of like retirement or income from these people. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy. It was incredible operation. So I'm really excited to cut up that vlog and show you guys that.
Awesome. Can't wait.
Let's see.
Toa, he's talking about Mojo's 4-way box battle for the $1,000 slabs.
Oh, I can't talk about that. That is part of DAP's content. So when DAP's unveils that, you guys can see what happened. All I'm gonna say is that I stole the show. That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Dan stole the show apparently. City by the Bay. I'm waiting for the Dan rookie card. It's up there on the top right.
It could happen. It could happen soon, guys. Again, I'm not joking when I told you we made a lot of connections. We were networking, so there could be a great curator
Alan Ginter card.
There could be a great curator card in the future. There could be a Merle World Cards card in the future. There could be a
Zero Cool card, just like Gary V.
So it all depends on you guys. It depends on the type of loyal fan base that we have that would actually buy something so ridiculous, right? The more you guys support us, we can't do it without you guys. The more you guys support us, the more fun we can have.
Yes.
If you guys want t-shirts, we have t-shirts. You can buy our t-shirts right now. I don't know if you guys know this. Merlin has t-shirts you can buy. He's wearing his right now. Okay. You can buy them directly from Merlin. I have my Great Curator PMG t-shirt that you see me wear. It's in the logo on the top right corner. You can see it right there. You can buy that on my YouTube page right now. So things like that you guys can do to support us. And the more support we have, the bigger we can grow.
And then Paper Gemz has the Between Two Slabs,
yes,
which is the link is in the description.
Yes, our friend,
the show.
Our friend Mo, who runs Paper Gemz Instagram account. He's he owns that t-shirt company. He made us a Between Two Slabs shirt, so we could do fun stuff like that, collabs, things like that. And also, I'm gonna put this out there. If any of you guys can help us design logos, help us, come up with stickers or intro to our video, make a fun jingle, whatever. Michael Golden, wherever you are.
Where's Michael Golden?
We need your help, Michael Golden, for a jingle. Please help us. We would love you guys to contribute to building this for us and for the community, for you guys. Okay. Let's see here.
Who will be next? Zup Chili. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
I've come to appreciate that. Definitely come to appreciate that.
Yes, we'll just see how far they go with it. Toa, you've made it. Manscaped sponsors you. Oh yeah, definitely Manscaped.
Well, yeah, I don't know if I could qualify for that, but we'll see.
Or maybe we'll have Frank Thomas on here selling the viral vitamins.
Yeah, no. This is all our wrestling fans will understand that when we start doing commercials for Blue Chew, that's when we've made it.
Oh gosh. Carlos, thanks for another great show. Yeah, just hope we're not selling cricket, but I'll still do it. Mark the Collector. I'll stop by you guys' table Wrestlecon. Oh, please do. We'll be the one with the cards, obviously.
Yeah.
Andrew, what do you think Cody's chances are of actually winning WrestleMania and becoming a new champion? Well, high.
I think it's going to happen. I think it's basically written into the script right now.
Yeah. Toa, Heritage is a pretty big auction house. Yeah, I guess Dan witnessed that.
It's the biggest one. They told me they are the biggest one in America.
It's bigger than Golden.
Okay.
But Golden does Golden sell other stuff too, just like Heritage?
Not that kind, not the antique stuff, but
okay. I wonder if they sell cars and jewelry too, right?
I want Golden to sponsor this channel, and I think that we can help Golden. I think that we can help Golden get to the Heritage auction level. Okay?
Oh my goodness!
I think we can do
that. I want a piece of the pie, Dan.
I think we can do it, but when I can't say this, I don't want to say this. I don't want to say it because I don't want to offend anybody. Seeing that we're trying to get sponsorships now, but I'm just gonna say when I tried to make the comparison, it was not even comparable to them.
You can't compare.
Yeah.
Understandable.
It's totally a different level. Heritage auction is number one, but Golden's very big in the space too, but they don't do all the stuff that Heritage does. Okay, so which is why they need our help to promote their pop culture divisions and grow. So they need to help us sponsor this channel. Okay, let's see.
Axel C, how did the Moonrock feel? I bet it felt hard, didn't it?
That's an understatement, but it felt like a real energy. I like antiques, and every time I get like a cool antique, I like to touch it because I feel like I can absorb the story of that antique, of that item, that artifact. I feel like I touch it, and then the story or the memories come into me, and it's something really cool. So I thought it was really awesome. I wish I could have
auction houses like Heritage and Golden still do live auctions, like in person.
So that's another thing that you'll see in my vlog is that yes, they have a room where they do in-person auctions, like you see on TV. So
you give them $1, give them $1, give them $5, give them $5.
Very
cool. 10 over there.
Very cool. Yes. Yeah. I even took a picture as trying out as an auctioneer there. So let's see here.
Zup Chili need the Between Two Slabs dual on card auto superfractor 1 of 1.
Yeah.
Oh yes, definitely.
I would buy my own superfractor. If I had a superfractor, I would buy it for sure.
Andrew, how many card shows you planning going to for 23? Not as many as last year.
I kind of mapped it out. I think that we're probably going to go to like 10 to 12.
Ooh, boy, that many. Okay, there you go. So far, it's just been one per month, but I'm sure it'll pick up in summer. Shin Binmaru 1. You can watch some of their live auctions on YouTube. Oh, good to know.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we got to all our comments here. We're just right on time. We always get to that almost that 2-hour mark. It never fails.
God, it has been. I can't believe it's already been 2 hours already.
We give you guys that 2 hours of content that you can only get here on Between Two Slabs. So appreciate that. So let's wrap this up. Final thoughts on everything here. Anything you want to say, Merlin?
No. Check me out on Merlin Cards Instagram and YouTube, folks. Curator Army. I know everybody's right now. For y'all didn't know, it might have been frustrating. Some of y'all might have gone to my channel tonight and the live stream wasn't there. Well, we purposely done that. We decided we would consolidate our viewers and just move it over to the Curator's channel. So we're only going to be showing Between Two Slabs from now on the Great Curator's channel. And I will be starting an interview show, which is kind of like you guys saw when Dan wasn't here. We had guest celebrity co-host, and we'll be doing that. And we'll probably for a while, I might stream both on my channel and Curator's channel just to get everybody on there, and then finally segue just to my channel. But Dan's going to be an executive producer of that show, so I'm going to be glad to start doing this show pretty soon, probably another week. So
I've got an EP credit. I've got an EP credit on that for sure. But yes, guys, we are trying to be more focused. Before we were just like two yahoos just talking about non-sports cards. We still are
two yahoos.
Yeah, we still are nerds basically, but we're trying to be more focused and organized on how we present this content so that we give you guys better quality. That's what we want to do. We want to produce
better quality.
We want to produce better content for you guys to enjoy, give you guys as much value as possible. And hopefully if we can get the sponsorship and the business opportunities that come with that, that will be great. And that will help us along the way. So yeah, just like Merlin was saying, he's going to be doing his interview show. It will be another day during the week, and it will be exclusively on his channel. And not only is he going to be interviewing some of your favorite hobby content creators and guests, things like that, but he will be interviewing people that support us a lot. So all you guys who want to get on here, just talk cards and things like that, tell your story, you will have an opportunity to interact on the interview Between Two Slabs interview channel on Merlin's channel for that. So if you guys want to do that, send Merlin a message on Instagram.
Right.
And he's currently making the guest list right now, and it's filling up quick, guys. It's filling up months in advance. So
yeah, even little me, I'm surprised how many people that are much bigger than even Dan and us who wants to be on the show. So it's great.
I want to see some of you guys on there. I want to learn your story about collecting, what you guys like, you know, how you guys found us, and put a face to the name and things like that. So that's going to be a great way for us to engage with everybody. That's going to be really cool. And then just like we said, we're trying to consolidate the views to this channel so that it makes us look better, you know, for these corporate partners and things like that. So if you guys can, please continue to like, share, subscribe, and watch our content and all that stuff.
Definitely. And I'll have more information on the next show next Tuesday. We'll be back on Tuesday night.
Right. And then we will continue to be making show vlogs. Between the two of us, we will continue to making show vlogs and, you know, whatever other cool type of content. We're really going to be focusing on that for the next several months, building up to the national for you guys.
Right. Now are you doing anything this weekend?
The premiere show is this weekend.
Oh, okay. I may stop by there for a little while.
The premiere show, and you know,
setting up?
No, I'm not setting up.
Okay.
I'm gonna go though, but you know who's gonna be there? Who may be there? Or who's gonna be in town for a couple weeks?
Who?
Our friend Sunday League investor Brian.
Brian, what?
Yes, he's come out. He's come out of you know, off the grid. He's coming back onto the grid. He's been gone for several months, but he's coming to shoot some cool content down here. So maybe we'll see him. That'll be pretty cool. So I'll be doing that.
And then you're going to WonderCon in 2 weeks.
Next week is WonderCon. So we'll be doing that. And then also this week, this is I'll admit this to you guys here because I know I'm gonna get hell for it. But today is actually my anniversary. My wedding.
Happy anniversary! Wow.
Yeah.
The The 15th, March 15th?
March 15th. So I told my wife, I said, I'd love to take you out to a fancy dinner. Okay. But I have to do Between Two Slabs with Merlin.
Oh boy. I don't want Ann mad at me.
Because we couldn't do it yesterday. We had to do it today. So I make those type of sacrifices for you guys.
Oh.
I take the bullet. I take the bullet for you guys. Okay. But this weekend I will take my family out to a very nice dinner. So that's how we make it up for it.
Oh yes. Steak and lobster, baby.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And that's it, guys. We're gonna wrap this up. I don't want to go to 2 hours.
I'm starving, Dan.
We got to wrap this up. Thank you, guys.
Bye, guys. We'll see you next Tuesday. Bye-bye.